Today, I'm going to be talking a bit about the state of Overwatch competitive. I want to make this video less of a rant and more constructive feedback on what I personally think Blizzard should be doing to improve the competitive in Overwatch. The level that competitive is unlocked at is way too low. At level 25, there's no way you can have a good enough understanding of the game. I'm not saying that your level is directly linked to your skill level, because that simply wouldn't be true. But what your player level will be linked to is your understanding of the game, which is a lot more important in a competitive environment. Some of the people I've played with in competitive aren't necessarily bad at the game, but they simply don't understand it well enough. Another problem with this is that a lot of lower level players don't particularly understand the importance of working in a team. They're constantly alone and trying to get kills and not helping the rest of the team. For the most part, high level players understand that it's vital to work as a team, meaning they'll fare much better in a competitive environment. Another interesting thing to point out is that League of Legends, the biggest esport in the world, requires users to play for more than 100 hours before they can access ranked. Although they're obviously very different games, Blizzard should definitely learn from this. My suggestion is that they should change the access level to around level 50. I understand that they want people to be able to access competitive play early so they don't lose interest in the game. But at the same time, what's the point if lower level players are ruining it for others? Level 50 should be a high enough level so that players have a good enough understanding of the game, but low enough that it shouldn't be a massive struggle to reach. In payload or hybrid maps, one team is attacking and one is defending. For the most part of competitive, this is fine, unless both teams win at attacking and defending. Then the game goes into sudden death. A coin is flipped to decide which team attacks and which defends. This makes no sense. While playing competitive, there should be no random elements. Why should whether one team win be decided by the flip of a coin and not based on their skill? Blizzard have said that they plan to tweak this, so that in time it will be perfectly fair. My suggestion is that if the game goes into sudden death, it takes both teams to a control point map. This would be completely fair as both teams are on a level playing field, and whether one team wins or not is not decided by a coin flip or the map they're on. This is how it worked in the first iteration of competitive that was scrapped, and honestly, I don't know why they removed it. The amount of experience you gain after every game at the moment is kind of strange. Apparently, it's mere taken into account if you did well or not in your team, and this will affect the amount of XP you lose or gain. At the moment, I do not see this happening. If our team just loses and I played very well, I'll lose the same amount of XP if we got destroyed and I played awfully. This also makes playing in solo queue a bit of a gamble. You are very much relying on getting a good team or worse opponents. Even if you're a brilliant player, it doesn't matter if your entire team have never used a computer before and all pick Bastion. What Blizzard should do is that they should take in players' individual performance and tweak the XP they lose or gain so it's more realistic. Someone shouldn't be gaining a rank if they played awfully and were carried by their team, or someone shouldn't be losing a ton of XP if they were the only good player on their team. Now, I don't know if everyone's been having the same experience as me, but in a lot of my games there are people leaving. This is happening a lot more often than it should be, and it's affecting the other players in the game a lot more than it's affecting the person leaving. The team the leaver was playing on will no doubt lose the game they were playing and lose XP because of that, and the enemy team will gain nearly no XP, even if the player left just as the enemy team was about to win. Now, I can understand why Blizzard did this. If an enemy player leaves the game and the enemy team gained full XP for beating a team with one person in it, it'd be crazy and could quite easily be abused. What should happen is it should take into account when the other player or players left the game and adjust the XP accordingly. What I mean by this is it should take into account at what point the players leave the game and which team was clearly winning and adjust the XP accordingly. If one team is clearly losing and leave near the end of the game, then the other team should gain full XP for that game. But if they're winning and leave near the beginning, then the other team should gain a very small amount of XP. To prevent this from happening, leaver penalties should be much harsher. If you leave one match, you should be banned for playing for a day, 2 a week, and 3 for the rest of the season. Obviously disconnecting from the server is a different story, but rage quitting or deliberately leaving for some other reason isn't okay and should be punished harshly. In conclusion, the things I think would improve Overwatch competitive massively are competitive being unlocked to level 50, sudden death played on a control point, experience gained or lost should take in how the individual did a lot more, correct the XP lost or gained if another player or players leave, and add much harsher leaver penalties. Finally, I just want to say, I can understand why Blizzard wanted to introduce competitive play fast. They've previously said that they want one of their games to become the next big esport because of how much it's blown up recently. Overall, for their second try, I don't think this is too bad. No one's expecting it to be perfect, and well, it isn't. Other games with a successful competitive system have taken years to perfect, and Blizzard are probably going to have to take a while to perfect theirs also.